Welcome to the Emily Rassam Show. I'm Emily, and I'm so excited you're here. The Emily Rassam Show explores real stories in parenting, business, and personal growth, focusing on learning and bringing you along for the ride. If you're a mom, a dreamer, a doer, or a little bit of everything, this space is for you. Hi, and welcome to the Emily Rassam Show. I am joined with my guest and friend. Olivia is an activist and works with different groups and does legislation in Congress. Her company is called International Defenders Council. I got it out there. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you are doing with UFOs right now? Because I need to hear all about that.
First, thank you for saying UFO. I really like that because right now the government wants it to be UAP. And by the way, aliens are now NHI, non-human intelligence, but the rest of us all know that that's really just UFO and alien. And basically what we're doing right now is we're pushing for the UAP disclosure Act and also for the Whistleblower Protection Act. I'm sorry, UAP Disclosure Bill and Whistleblower Protection Act. I talk about this every single day. I can't believe I got them switched. We just had a hearing yesterday on September 9th, and we had a couple of Congress people and senators have a hearing, and they brought about 4 whistleblowers to discuss the reverse technology that's been taking place and also communication with aliens. And because they're whistleblowers and they're putting their life on the line, it's giving us, I guess, more of a leg to stand on so that the public takes this seriously. Because a lot of people still think we're talking about a Star Trek episode, but we're not. It's really happening. And we've got millions of people out there who are experiencers. And so I think this is going to be an opportunity for mankind to level up.
Do you feel like we're kind of like opening a can of worms in a sense, like with disclosing more of the information to the general public? Like, is it going to cause mass chaos? What's
Ooh,
the general consensus from the people you're speaking with about that?
that's a good question. So will it cause mass chaos? It depends on how people how we prepare people for it, right?
Right.
So what I really like about the UAP disclosure bill is that it protects the last 25 years. So we're not really asking them to breach anything that will create a problem for national security, which I think is like the biggest concern of some of these legislative staffers and the senators and the Congress people that are out there, because they want to make sure that if we are dealing with a UFO that has been created by our government
Right.
for, reasons that
Political, geopolitical.
for war, they don't want other countries knowing how far we've gone in
Right.
advancing this technology. So that I'm okay with. Everything else, especially anything going all the way back to Area 51, I mean, it's outdated. It's already
Right.
been out there. People have been talking about it. They've written books about it, right? So I think that we have a right to know that by now.
Right. My thing is, I think probably a lot of people are thinking War of the Worlds, like,
Oh,
you know, um, is that going to happen? And then remember that radio show that they had? Was that called War of the Worlds also?
so it's funny that you say that because there's actually a video going around right now about a UFO that's supposed to, well, 3 UFOs that are bigger than like a football field, like 150, I don't know, miles supposedly,
Right.
that are headed to Earth and will be here any minute now. I think that that would have already happened if that was the agenda.
Right.
When you speak to a lot of these experiencers, the general feeling is that they think that these outside races are not really allowed to come in and and create the change for us. Because if they could,
Right.
if they did, well, if they wanted to, I'm not saying that they could, because they probably could. But if they wanted to, they would have already done it by now, right?
Right. That
So
makes sense. And so, like, thinking of this from a science nerd perspective, which I love to do, like, do they ever talk about it as it's a different dimension of
course.
reality versus like where we are in the spatial plane right now? Or is that kind of a general consensus from the people you've spoken with?
Heck yeah, especially now that we have all those videos about the plasma UFO sightings.
Right.
So I don't know if you saw, did you see the hearing yet from yesterday, from September 9th?
I did not know.
Okay, so they show this video of like a missile hitting plasma like ship, and it hit it and then it just dispersed and like other little dots came out of there. And so what they're saying is that that could possibly be another dimension
Right.
or portal of like, yeah, the way it's coming in, because it's not coming in with like two legs and two arms and
Right.
walking as an object. They're either a black hole opening or some kind of portal or some kind of dimensional peephole, someone looking in.
Yeah, yeah.
Because apparently there's videos showing that it reacts to our observation and vice versa. So it's almost like it's watching us watching it.
Well, there's like the blind slit theory in science too, where if
Yeah.
you watch the electron, it'll go a different direction. Like, you know, I feel like science kind of doesn't disagree with it, even though it's a little bit controversial. But so, I mean, the earth did used to be flat. I mean, that's debatable still, like whether or not, depending on who you speak with. But we really don't know everything. And the more you know as a scientist, the less you know really about reality.
Science is so new if you think about it. Like our
It really
sciences
is.
is like what 100 years, and like what do we have? Like the hypothesis system, right? Where you can guess. But even that, I don't know. I mean, I feel like even when I stop and read reports on NASA, like I think like 2 days ago, NASA just came out with a report saying that they are 100% sure there's life on Mars because of the dried up rivers that they discovered, right?
Hmm.
And I think to
Okay.
myself, even then, the evidence that you have gathered to make you think that there was life on Mars, which by the way, I believe there was and probably still is. But anyway, um, I believe that that system is still outdated because what if they're only going by our senses where we can see, feel,
Right,
what if
right, right,
there are ways? What if the beings are right in front of us and we can't see it because they're vibrating at a speed that we don't know how to
right.
collect data from?
That I mean, that makes sense too. Like, I mean, there are huge limitations in science and scientific theory. And even, I mean, I was just reading recently, that's why Plato died. He was put to death because he listened to that little Geppetto on his shoulder. And it was like a really controversial thing that he was teaching people. And that's why they put him to death.
And now it's called our higher self, right?
Yeah, your higher self or conscious. So, um, yeah, like it really is. We have a lot to change as far as the way we look at things. That segues into something that happened today. Is we just heard that Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, and he definitely had some things to say and opinions that he was sharing, and he unfortunately passed away because of that. We think, but we're not sure. It's still kind of a developing story, so we don't want to make too many assumptions on that. But what are your thoughts on this? And
Makes me sad because whether or not we agree with his style or his opinion, it's America and we're supposed to be allowed to have our opinion. And this was a man that constantly said, "Yeah, I want to talk about it. I want to discuss it."
right.
But just like with anybody who has a passion for anything, there's going to be someone who disagrees with you. And obviously, somebody wanted to shut him up.
Right. And I mean, it would be really interesting to figure out hope someday why that happened. Kind of like the Area
Books will be written.
51 disclosures. Also, like we want to know what happened. It's been a while now.
There's so many books about it that have already been written. And I think there's a man in Montana who set up a library. I forget what the name is. I'll give it to you later. But basically, it was a doctor who worked at Area 51. And he went on to work with another man who's actually the current leader for the Citizens for Disclosure movement for Montana. And he has records that I don't think are probably in any published book, but they are on this website because he collected them about what was happening there. All the way to like discussing the autopsies on these alien bodies that supposedly were being kept there.
Right. And it makes you wonder like how accurate can you be on something that's a false statement or a false description of things? Like it's really hard to be that creative and come up with information and just kind of like pull it out of nowhere as far as credibility when you have large quantities of data. I have noticed that.
That's such a good point. You know what? Leads me to the whistleblower issue, right?
Right.
Because so some of these whistleblowers have lost their job, but others are currently still working for the government. I often wonder which one of them is really somebody that we can trust. Like, are they feeding us false information? Are they trying to like lure us away from like the real fact?
A red herring, so to speak,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I think about that all the time, but since I can't figure it out, I just roll with it.
Hey, it's always good to ask questions, I think, especially the awkward ones. I'm all about those because that's how you learn the most and get people to open up more. Um, and yeah, especially I love talking to science people and people that work with government officials and etc. Because it's fun to throw off the wall questions out there and make things awkward.
Yeah, no, I've been in some legislative meeting with some Department of Defense fellows or national security advisors that
Right.
are like, "Would you like to take a walk in the hallway off the record?" And I already know they're gonna be like,
Listen here.
"Yeah, pretty much." Um, so yeah, there's always what they'll tell you and then what they are saying in meetings and
Like
then
behind
what's
closed doors is legitimately
but
happening.
it's layered.
Right. Like The Onion, like that newspaper. Is that a newspaper? The
Yeah,
Onion?
the New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna know something too? There's this really famous book about disclosure. I just read it like a week and a half ago, and it says that the government programs are designed like an onion. So there's like a clearance for each department or how far you can go, and then they
Right.
purposely segment them so that one department doesn't know what the other one's doing, so that the full message is not really known.
Yes, I remember studying that, because I live near, Oak Ridge National Laboratory where they worked on the, Manhattan Project, and so it talked about how each single department, they had a job and they had no idea what they were doing at all, which is a great way, to get people to not spill the beans.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm running a black ops project, I definitely would guide
Yes.
them like that.
And then, so are you speaking with other countries, like people in other countries about this issue?
Currently, we're only working with Canada and Mexico.
Okay.
Our goal, so let me specify who we is,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
So I'm currently working with the New Paradigm Institute,
Okay.
and I am running their coordinator program for the Citizens for Disclosure. And Citizens for Disclosure is currently in 32 states, has about 3,200 volunteers as of today and growing. And they are pushing for UAP disclosure and whistleblower protection. So, what was the question regarding that?
I don't know. Oh, like what other countries are you working with?
We're about to have on October 20th a Global Disclosure Day where we're going to bring in more people from other countries, but the
Okay.
strongest ones right now are Canada and Mexico.
Okay. I was wondering that because I remember seeing reports about some of the people from the UK mentioning
You know,
UFOs
yeah.
somewhere, maybe in World War II.
Here's something funny. We had a national meeting and I was putting out some of the links for the biweekly meetings, and 6 people from the UK ended up at the South Carolina Zoom meeting. So yeah, that means that people are interested. They want to know, they want to get involved.
Right, right. So that's going to be an interesting thing to follow. I know I'm going to be doing some follow-up questions on that as the events unfold for sure. And then can you tell me about like how you got into advocacy and working in legislation with the government? I'm just really curious
Sure.
because not a lot of people hear how you get into that. You just go from being a bartender to running for Congress
Well,
and that's
see,
how it works, like just as an example.
I mean, I wanted to be a teacher and homeschool my kids and live in a Winnebago and go from country to country. But here I am 24 years later in the same career. So
Right.
for me, it started on college campus.
Okay.
I was in Miami-Dade College at the time, and a girl named Magda Ficzkowicz, wherever she is out there. Hello, Magda. She's from Poland.
Okay.
And she came up to me with a flyer and was like, "Hey, do you want to go to this meeting? There's pizza." And I was just hungry.
Right, right. That's
So
how they always get us
and
when
it
we're young.
worked. So I went to go have pizza. And I was a stupid broke kid. I must
Right.
have been like 16 maybe. And so um that was the beginning of me going out and passing out petitions and talking to people and signing them up for meetings and basically community organizing.
Okay.
And then that turned into working with nonprofits as a intern.
Okay.
So I went on to help write RFPs, which are like these packages that you fill out for grants, and put together slide decks of what they were working on. And then that turned into voter registration. And then that turned into putting together rallies in the streets and learning how to get people there and get buses and posters. It didn't even occur to me that this could turn into a paying job, let alone a career. And then finally, somebody hired me to start working for a nonprofit. I had already worked for about 5 or 6 of them before I started getting paid to work with them. I get hired for a nonprofit, and then I become a state director, and that leads me to start putting together programs and training people. And then some lawyers came in to try to teach us how to read and write a resolution so that we can push that through state legislation. And that's when it really started to grow. So at that point, I realized, wait a minute, we can actually create change and pressure our legislators to represent us. So if I'm not happy about something, I can actually change it.
Right.
I used to always just think, well, that's what they voted on.
It's floating out in the ether somewhere,
But no, like we have
Yeah.
a say. We really are that powerful.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
We're so fortunate here. So fortunate.
I mean, with NPI, we just sent out 75,000 letters to legislation, and we did a big push for the Rules Committee last week. And in 2 days, 48 hours, we sent out 5,044 letters. I can't even count how many phone calls.
I was going to say I can barely count that high, I feel like, lately. So that's impressive in 2 days.
Yeah, in 2 days. And I mean, that's just starting. I mean, because the movement for UAP disclosure with NPI is not even 6 months old right now. It's a baby. It's like a little egg waiting to hatch. So, but yeah, so that's how I got started. And then eventually I ended up moving up the ladder to being a director of operations and learning how to actually run a whole nonprofit, which
Right.
never again. I like being on this side of the street. And then that eventually ended up me going and opening up my own nonprofit and then becoming executive director and then getting as much training as I possibly could through a program called State Voices that supports.
State Voices, okay.
Oh yeah, if you have a nonprofit in Florida, look for State Voices. They'll give you training, they'll give you access to the van, they'll give you access to every action, so you can actually have a systematic way to identify voters and super voters and have a strategic approach to pushing policy. And eventually that led me to DC because somebody said, hey, listen, I need you to go to DC and put together a congressional briefing. What is that? I literally didn't know. My first time putting one together, I learned on the go. And I didn't have Google.
Well, that's entrepreneurship in a nutshell. I'll do that.
Basically, I just needed to eat. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And now, I mean, I put together so many I can't even count. But and then political forums where we have the elected officials, well, the candidates. I'm sorry, present themselves to the community and talk about what they are going to do.
Right.
I use liquidation because it's not always true at the end, but
Yeah. I mean, but it sounds good.
yeah. So basically, it's funny because, like I said, I wanted to be a teacher and a songwriter. I love writing and I love music, but this is how I ended up. But I think the reason it became so easy for me was because I came from a very abusive household.
Right.
And the first two people that I advocated for were my mom and my brother.
That's awesome.
I didn't realize that until like 20 years later when I was like looking back at it. I think I was in therapy one day and I was like, oh my God, I spent my entire childhood protecting my mom and my brother, my father, and advocating for them and pushing for them. And this work is very much like that. You lose yourself in helping people who don't have a voice or putting
Or
yourself.
think they don't have a voice, right? Like,
Ooh, good one.
yeah,
That's right. Think they don't have a voice because you do have one.
everyone has one.
Absolutely. And you can, I mean, look at us now. I mean, when I want to really create change in a state, a city, I bombard those phone lines. We make sure we call, email, write letters, set up meetings. I mean, your representative is probably looking at over 100 different policy initiatives or bills or resolutions that are on their desk. And they're going to pay attention to the ones that the constituents are really pressuring.
Right. The
Because
squeaky wheel.
also, how can you make sure that you're there next year?
Right.
Keep your voters
Numbers.
happy. Yeah.
Yes,
So that means you matter.
it does. I like that. I love that. That's a fun journey.
It is. It is. It is. It just shows me.
It's funny how that always happens. Like, I decided to start this podcast because I was praying about it and like, I think God's gonna smite me if I don't do it. I was
think so,
joking about
too.
that, but he probably might. Like,
Well, as people chime into your podcast, they're going to realize that you are a very well-rounded person. And I'm not just, complimenting you because that's not my style. Like you are really, really smart. This woman cooks from scratch and she's got 4 kids and she cooks from scratch. Her house is more organized than mine will ever be.
that's
And
because I
she's
just
got
get rid of
kids.
everything.
No, but I mean, I open up those closets and I'm like, oh my God, you should see my closet now, by the way. You inspired me. She's so organized that I just don't even know how she does it. And I'm like, you have to share this with the world and teach people how to do this because it just comes natural to her. She doesn't even know that, like, I don't, do you even try? Like,
So I do. So I'm like really organized because I want to kind of set it and forget it. Like I don't want to think about that again. I have other things that I want to be doing, and
but
those
like
are the
you
ones I want to
make
focus on.
sourdough bread, you make yogurt, like you make cheese. Like, what the hell? Like, that's what I want to be when I retire because I can't do it now.
I'm already retired. Like I'm an
You're not
entrepreneur.
retired. You
You
have
never.
4 kids and a husband. Has his own business. She's not retired. I don't know
I
what.
told my husband I'm
Where are
like
you
I'm
thinking?
retired, so you know.
No, retired is you laying by the pool, like just
This is my
relaxing, having to
idea
do
of
anything.
retirement. I love to be busy. I love it. That's like I thrive on it.
But you realize that that's a talent,
I know. I
and
know. I don't
that's
even need
why
coffee for this. I have to use it.
I
God's gonna
I don't
smite
have
me.
your talent.
I told you. I see. I know. Like a lot of politicians seem to be that way too. Like I've heard they have a lot of energy to keep going, like on the campaign
It's there's
trail, like
well, I mean, yeah, I guess, but I
Abe
mean,
Lincoln, and those are some of the ones I'm thinking of.
but think about it. Your politicians are usually business owners, athletes,
Right.
lawyers, and they rely on their staff. When I set up my meetings with legislators, I am looking for the legislative directors. I'm looking for whoever is the specialist or the fellow, or the aide on that specific subject that I'm, working on.
Right.
Because as much as a face-to-face meeting with your legislator help you move it along, at the end of the day, it's their staff, the
They do all the
team,
work.
and they're going to advise him or against.
Don't forget, start at the grassroots. That's why they call it the grassroots movements, because you start small and then you get to the top that way. Really, for anything. I mean, in
Yeah.
life.
I'm known as Chinese water torture, and I love that. Somebody started calling me that.
I need
And
to know about why this is now.
so
Spill the beans. Like, what's going on here?
the Chinese water torture is when they drop a little drop of water on your head. You're laying down and flat, and then slowly through time, it starts to make this soft until it cracks open.
It's creating a Grand Canyon.
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's my approach to advocacy. I will make sure, like, we're in this for the long haul. So I will make sure the phone calls and the emails start, and the I don't want to say rioting, but the demonstrating and the marches, and people talking about this and
So-
putting it on podcasts.
So somebody's going to get the megaphone out where things are done. Like,
Oh, it's been
okay.
a while. I missed that.
I can see that.
Good times.
Okay, and so you do this, and what would be the legislation that you've worked on that you're most proud to have worked and
Probably DACA.
DACA? Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit more about that, just in case we don't know
Sure.
what DACA means, because I know it's like everyone knows this in Texas and Florida and California, but maybe not the other states.
I started it in New York and then moved on to back home in Florida. And basically, what it is you were brought here into this country by immigrant parents and and stayed here illegally and went on to school and graduated. When you go to college, you're considered an international student.
I know.
You've never been in Mexico or whatever, country you came from. You've never been in China. You are American because you've
Right.
been here since you were a child and all you know is American culture.
And I remember some people's parents never told them that they weren't
Ooh,
officially
yeah.
American, and they go to fill out a FAFSA and they
Poor kids.
start figuring out, my gosh, what happened?
And so with DACA, we were able to change that. We were able to help the children to have the American life that they were raised in and be able to
Right.
apply and go to school and even get scholarships. So I thought, to me, it was a very emotional thing because I was born in Texas, in McAllen, Texas, only because my mother was there at the time. Because I think we still had a house in Mexico. But if you're from McAllen, Texas, in the border in the valley, you can play like volleyball from across the border.
Right.
People live in Reynosa, Mexico, and then they go across and they work in McAllen or vice versa. So I could have easily been one of those kids.
Right.
If my mother had just her water had broken on the other side, I'd be Mexican right now.
Right.
Although I am Mexican, but you know what I mean, in my documents.
Yes.
So can you imagine? So I was very proud of working on that because I felt like we were able to help American kids.
Yes. I remember this happened a lot, like around the time I was in college that I was seeing, because I think that's probably about the time you were working on DACA, right? Like
Yeah.
2010s.
Yeah. I was already in New York, so yeah.
So for those of you who weren't familiar with the whole DACA thing, but I know a lot of people I'm that are going to be listening to this episode are from Florida, so they're very familiar with that.
Of course, I mean, Florida's like, have you ever heard that joke? What's your favorite thing about Florida?
No, I don't know this one.
That it's so close to the United States.
That's true. It is.
Because we're a melting pot. We're a melting pot of different cultures.
And that's one thing that I love about our country, that we strive to be American. But it's its unique identity. It's not just like we're 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 Asian American, or my children are Syrian American, I guess you would call them. And so it's it's really like we come together in my mind with this unique identity as American, because it doesn't matter where you're from or who raised you or whatever. You can embody the spirit of being an American, and it's a really beautiful thing, I think, that other countries don't get to experience.
Except for Canada. I don't know. I was in Canada last year and it blew my mind. I was driving through Ottawa and I looked at this block. No joke. There was a hijabi woman, an Asian woman, an African American man, and two Latinos, and then a white guy, all in the same block. And I turned to my husband and I was like, it's freaking amazing. Like, what is going on? United Colors of Benetton.
Right. I mean, my first think is like, oh my gosh, where are we eating next? Like, because I love cooking. And
Don't you hate out here that there's not a lot of variety of restaurants? Chris and I drove around last night going, there's nowhere to eat.
really, and I also find like it's lackluster in the stereotypical Southern fare as well. Like we have only two kinds of fried chicken, or like, it's just wrong. And we have the choice between, a fast food burger joint or nothing.
Exactly. That was the issue.
Yeah.
So we were thinking in Miami, we could like pick a country and go to any restaurant. Here, there's like wings, burgers, Shake and Shake, McDonald's, Wendy's.
Call it bar food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
Around here in
after
this
the bar
area.
food. Yes. And like I loved that about California too. And I know a lot of my friends are going to be hating on me because they're like, there's liberals out. But you know what? We're at the end of the day, we're all American, dang it. And we get to spend time together enjoying and learning from each other, because if we all had the same opinion, life would be boring as all get out. And so I miss that about California so much, is the diversity and the diversity of food. Like, let me tell
you
you.
How do you say it?
Diversity.
I said diversity. We both said it differently at the same time.
Okay,
I don't know what's the proper way. Am I saying it wrong?
Diversity. It comes out once in a while. My father is very Southern, very Southern.
I love your father, by the way. He's so awesome.
Anyway, if you're asking some of them, it is diversity. Otherwise, it's diversity. Like, I used to have a little tiny Okinawan place next to me. Okinawan. In Japan, like Japanese. And they would literally bring a fish out on a platter on ice and be like, this is our special for the night. And like, yeah, I can't get that here. I can't even find good fresh oysters. We're so close to the Panhandle. Like,
well, hold on. Morton Steakhouse will bring you the actual aquarium.
That's nice. We don't have a Morton Steakhouse here, though. No, I've only been to one in in Canada, believe it or not. That's the only Mortons I've ever been to in Niagara Falls.
I didn't know they were out there. That's
yeah, awesome. Pretty sure there is one.
Oh, cool.
I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But
I've only been to the Canadian side of Niagara Falls. I heard the other one's not that great. I don't know. It
looked bad, so I went to Canada.
But you know what? Going back to what you said about being American. So I find it so funny when people are like, speak English. First of all, I don't think America has a national language. Last time I checked, I don't know if anything's changed.
I think it does officially now.
Now it does. I mean, with the Gulf of America now,
it was supposed to be German at one point. They were talking about it being German. So,
that's not gonna happen anymore. But
no,
and it shouldn't be Spanish either. I think it should be English. But anyway, I think it's so funny because if you go back to like the early 1900s when we had like the gangs in New York and everything was coming through Ellis Island, right? Italians were considered Latino. They weren't considered American, like white American. And now they are.
Yes, they are. That always baffles me too. Well, same with a lot of Middle Eastern countries. They don't have, like, a category here on that.
My mother is a part Comanche, so I'm very Mexican, indigenous
Right.
looking. You know, I'm not white, but most of my family that was born in McAllen, Texas, says white. So anyway, the reason I'm saying this is because it makes me sad to think that there are groups out there that are still being racist and creating these boundaries and saying, well, you know, you're Mexican or you're Asian or, you know, you're African American, you're African, right? Because
Yeah, because you could be Moroccan and be African American too.
I
I
dated a
like to say
white
that all the time.
Moroccan with green eyes who looks so white.
I just like to throw that out there.
Yeah. My daughter, she's African American if you think about it. She's
Yes.
Egyptian.
Yes, I know.
But
So, I always like to throw that out there because I mean, come on,
great
they
exposure.
know. Yeah, exposure is a big thing. Like, I swear my biggest thing is, like, every young person needs to travel, and they need to
Yeah,
talk to as many people as they can because you realize that we're all very unique, but we all have certain things that are really in common. And another reason why I love food is because, like, I mean, everybody has to eat, you know? Like, everybody has to. So it's like something that brings us together.
you want to hear something funny?
What?
Okay, so my latest vice right now is the Amish shows. What are they called? Breaking Amish.
Yeah.
I'm on
Oh my
season
gosh.
4. This boy, I think it's I forget his name, but anyway, this boy takes out the Amish girl and he goes, "Hey, do you want to go out to dinner?" And so she goes, "We're gonna go eat Mexican." And then when they get there, it's a Chinese restaurant, but they're Amish, so they don't have a lot of exposure to this, right? So they're sitting there, and he's not sure if he's eating Chinese or Mexican until finally the girl goes, "I don't think this is Mexican." And I just thought that's so innocent, right? Because they haven't been exposed to these things.
Right.
They've heard about it here and there. They don't know what it really looks like.
But that's the thing, like, I feel that if you get exposed to new people and new places, that you really become a lot more open to meeting people and trying new things. Like,
Absolutely, and it's good for us because, I mean, why would I wanna be limited to only
right.
one type of people and race and you know, my opinions would only be based on my experiences alone, and then I'd never be able
Yeah,
to discover or create.
it's like, you just everybody has their own unique perspective on things, and that's I mean, that's important too because we wanna see, like, even in science, you need all the data points to get a good picture of things, but, like, I respect other people's opinions too, and that's one of the reasons why I told my husband today I was disgusted when I heard about
Mm.
Charlie Kirk and that because I mean, that's our it's like rule number 1 in the US, you have freedom of speech, and it's protected, and that's something we fought for.
I mean, Trump is going around saying that he's gonna throw out Rosie O'Donnell because
I
she's been
don't I
speaking up.
don't read the news. I don't listen to the news very often, but I heard that one too, and I'm like, how I was, like, really
Revoke
thinking,
her citizenship.
legally, was that feasible?
You can't do it. I mean, I don't think you can,
I
but
don't think so either,
we
'cause,
shouldn't be saying that.
I mean, I think you have to do something really bad or denounce your citizenship of your own volition, and it's not that easy to do. I've heard of people doing
Well,
it
she's in Ireland right now,
for,
so
like, financial reasons because, when you move to another country, you have to pay taxes here still.
oh, okay.
So, but that's the only reason I've really heard anyone giving up their US citizenship.
Putting that out there like that is making people think that, "Oh, well, maybe that's a good idea. You're not American enough."
I mean, I feel like sometimes, and I know this is probably bad to say, but, like, he speaks like a New Yorker.
You gotta love and hate the guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm a Mexican, so I'm gonna have my own opinions about that, but at the same time, you know, when I think of so I have a career right now
right,
because of World War II.
right.
And who ran that show?
The women,
Hitler.
ran by
Well,
women,
the one who started
bathroom.
World War II, right?
Well,
Hitler.
yes,
So the Nazi movement, which is a terrible, terrible movement. I mean, there was a genocide of Jews and, you know, also homosexuals and African Americans back then. Whoever was not Aryan.
they were African American
Oh
in
yeah,
World War II.
there are
They
stories
weren't American
of
in Germany,
they literally
but
right.
yes, I
You know
know.
what I mean? Black people. They were going after anyone who wasn't Aryan.
Right,
Right? So if that terrible incident hadn't happened, then we wouldn't have had the human rights
right.
that Ms. Roosevelt, you know, the president's wife, wrote the Declaration of Human Rights. And if that didn't happen, the nonprofits wouldn't exist because there would be no advocacy. That
It wasn't
propelled it.
needed. Okay, yeah, I love that.
So I think to myself, as much as maybe there are people out there who are against Trump and who really, really don't like him, even out of the negative things that are happening within his presidency, good things will come from
Well, yes. I mean, also, I'm a strong supporter of the fact that to get things done, you have to make people mad because that's how you get things done because they get really passionate about it and
it.
they make it happen. Then a lot of times they're like, okay, I have to do this.
Yeah,
Um,
especially in our ineffective government. I mean, let's face it, sometimes.
yeah, bureaucracy at its finest. And yeah, so that's another thing I've been reading a lot about is World War II history and Nazi propaganda and socialist movement because we
The
see
father of marketing.
right. I mean, yeah, and we see like a lot of push in the media. I don't know if this is legitimate, like talking to people on the ground in the US, like for socialism. And I even used one of the online AI softwares, and they're like, this was the best example of socialism working, literally said Russia and the Soviet Union, Germany.
The
And
father of communism is socialism. But when you
yeah,
look at it, it's like when you look at communism, it sounds so perfect. Everyone's gonna get a share, an equal share.
right.
Everyone will have all their needs met.
Yeah.
It'll be a utopian, economy and community in which everyone will have everything that they need and will share it. And then greed comes in and
Right, I
leaders
feel like that's, like, really appealing on the emotional spectrum when you think about
and
it,
in
like,
writing. Yeah.
emotionally and in writing, like, it sounds great.
What's that book? Mein Kampf? What is it?
Mein
The
Kampf, the one
the
Hitler wrote?
Hitler? Yeah.
I have not reread that.
It's actually really good. Too bad we know how that turned out,
I know I
but
have to read it again.
it didn't work in practice.
Right, not at all. It was an epic
But if
fail.
you read it, you're like, "Oh, wow. Okay."
Yes, so, like, that's another reason why I've decided I wanted to podcast because I see so much misinformation being spread in the news and social media, and it's really a type of warfare out there, like, I just wanna know what's going on, and legitimately know.
Some of them are nefarious. Like,
Right.
they have an agenda. The agenda is to sway the public towards ABC so that we can distract them from BFG.
Right, and I see that and I'm like, every time I'm questioning, every time I look in the news, "Oh, are we hearing about this disaster today because something else happened and we don't
Isn't it sad that we
wanna
have to
look
live
on
in that
page 5?"
paranoia?
Like, yeah, it is, and so,
It
I
really is.
mean, my whole thing is, like, I have a genuine quest for knowledge to learn new things and hear new opinions, so
Like, am I being manipulated?
right, I mean, I
Probably.
need to know.
I'm currently obsessed with the trial from between Blake, what is it, Ryan and Blake,
I don't know.
and Justin Baldoni. I'm obsessed. Like I watch it every day. I'm always like looking at the court cases. I just got over my obsession over what happened with Cardi B in her case. And you'd think, okay, I'm a human rights activist and I consult and I work on all these things, but I still don't have time to look at that. It's
She
like
still reads The Inquirer. Is
I
that
used to
still a
love
thing?
it. No, I loved it. I used to buy it at the
I
supermarket.
have not seen it at the supermarket. Is it no longer in print or something? I
Elvis
don't know.
has yeah, they haven't spotted Elvis
Well,
in
now I
months.
need to know because I remember there being, like, something about Elvis being an alien or something at some point,
He's
so
hanging out with what's that other guy, the
that's what
rapper?
we really need to know. Ask them to disclose at least some of the information from the Inquirer, and then I always wondered, is it actually real? Because real life is hard to make up, like, you can't
Well,
it's
a good lie is 75% true.
right.
So who
Thank you,
knows?
World War II, for teaching us that too.
Yeah. It's crazy nowadays, especially because there's so much information out there. Like, I could literally go online right now and Google how to sharpen a pencil and find books on this and videos on this and information on this, and then go to ChatGPT and find a perfect way to do it. It's that specific.
Right. I
It's a
agree.
lot.
Well, same with like health related things when you look them up and one of them says your head's going to fall off and the other one says, "Oh, it's no big deal."
Vitamin D, your
Right.
friend or your enemy?
Or like eat more beef. I don't know. See? And then I'm going to have to promote that thing we were talking about off camera and I'm going to be like beef cakes and
Okay,
we're
tell
going to
me about
pretend
that.
it's cupcakes, but it's really beef jerky. And I'm going to put a cupcake on the package.
'Cause
So it's low carb.
I tell you she needs to start her podcast with, like, one of her cupcakes or something that you do and get people. Let me tell you something. There's a market out there.
I know, but now
I
I'm
would
like,
buy this.
I want it to be healthy, so now I'm gonna have to do beefcake, and my husband's not gonna get that joke.
Protein.
I know, and it's gonna be extra protein, and I'm gonna be thrilled about it. Like, it's all about the marketing.
Maya's sick right now. She has a cold. And she told me yesterday, she said, Mom, I brought her chicken soup from the Mexican restaurant. She said, Mom, I need more protein. And I went to the refrigerator looking for like chicken or beef to cook, but it was all frozen. And I was like, oh crap, I have to go to the store and buy some protein. So if I had a beef cupcake in my refrigerator,
I'm just gonna put that on the package. I mean, come on. It's gonna be like good beef jerky or something.
and think about it, all the crap food that we eat.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of eating out.
Yeah,
I just don't have time to cook.
Crock-pot is your best friend. And then another thing, like, I see so much misinformation with diet culture too. And I'm like, why can't our scientists come up with a general consensus as to what is and what is not a healthy food? And that's also politically motivated as well in some instances, like in the US, especially.
Genetically modified markets. I remember when
Right.
that documentary came out. I sent it to everyone. I think it's called the GMO Relay or something like that. It's on Netflix. I sent it to everybody and then I started only buying products with that little square with the butterfly,
Right.
non-GMO, because I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, what am I eating? Am I eating actual food or am I eating something created by a factory to make more of that food so that they can make more money? And then also, I look for the word natural flavors.
Yes, that's a big one. You can even find that in butter.
Whoa.
And you're like, why? Why? It only
I buy
needs
the
to be
Amish
milk.
butter that rolls it.
Right.
Do you make your own butter?
I used to.
I knew it. I knew it. I love you.
I used to because I saw natural flavoring and I worked in the food industry as in
You
food
knew.
science. I knew to really read your
Do people
labels.
know that you're a scientist? I mean, like, she's a real brain,
I'm retired from science.
but you
Like I
understand
said,
that.
I'm retired.
You know what's funny? So when I started learning about natural flavors, it blew my mind. So, like, let's say, for instance, you have a drink that you want to start selling, and obviously, you want to make as much money as possible on this.
Right.
You have an orange drink, and oranges are expensive. You have to buy them and grow them, or maybe have a farm, or maybe mass, order them. And so these people would go to these scientists and say, "I want you to give me the natural flavor of orange, so I can put it in my drink, and then sell it as an orange drink or an orange juice." And we think we're drinking orange juice or, something with an orange flavor that's natural, but it's actually coming straight out of a laboratory.
Well, a big one of that is vanillin. Vanillin, the scent and the vanilla flavor that you get in a lot of things. But it's actually made of pine tree. If don't quote me,
What?
but I'm pretty sure it's like a pine derivative. So I'm kind of okay, I guess, with
Wait
pine
a minute,
derivative.
natural flavors in our sprays?
Vanilla, the
Crap.
scent, the flavor, vanilla and scent.
I had not heard about that.
Yeah, but I used to read way too many science articles. And so, like, that's something that I really want to go on a journey with the listeners about some of these things that we hear about every day in the news. And, it's just a little blip that you hear in the news. So you're not really well informed on what's going on.
Emily, you're focusing on disinformation.
Right.
Love that.
Yeah. I mean, I want to know genuinely. And I keep trying to go on the Make America Healthy Again website because I'm like, oh, I want to volunteer or get more into that. And their website is terrible. So if anyone ever listens
Really?
to this, you need to fix your website and make it more user friendly.
Got
So
it.
we can, we want to make America healthy. Like, I just like that slogan. I thought it was a good marketing tool, whether or not politically
America
you're
healthy.
okay with it.
Can we say again? I don't know. We were ever healthy. I mean, well, our parents
We were
definitely didn't eat our
starving.
crap.
I feel like we went from like Dust Bowl starving to death because we ripped out all the grass in the middle section, and then we went to Hoover cities. During that time, the Hoover flags people were flying, and we were starving still. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. We need to figure this out.
I think what happened is they started a rumor, which I don't believe, in that we are overpopulated. I've traveled the world and I see a lot of open space. A
Yeah,
lot.
that's another one I want to learn more about, like energy and overpopulation, because usually something wipes you out. Like even in animals, their population gets wiped out when there's too many of them, and I mean that happens to us too. Like
I think ours is
illnesses
also
and
plant.
yeah, So I'm just interested to learn more. Is it aliens? I'm not supposed to call them that now, though. I don't want to be.
No, I mean, I don't agree with the government changing it to UAP and NHI. I'm gonna continue to say aliens and UFOs because I feel like they're kind of like saying, "You crazy people, they're not UFOs and aliens." So now we're gonna have our own language so that we can make it our own messaging.
Right.
That really pisses me off.
I know. I mean, like it's a government thing and they need to make an acronym for it because it's acronym city. Like,
That's why we actually write in New Paradigm Institute with Citizen for Disclosure, we write UFO/UAP.
I like that. Because I feel like even like a lot of science articles I read, they assume everybody knows that they're acronyms. And then you're like,
I sure as hell didn't know. The first time I read an article about UAP disclosure, I was like, "What's UAP disclosure?" I didn't know.
I know, because I think I did that yesterday. Someone was talking about loons. They were telling us the story about loons,
Bird?
the bird, and I thought they said loom, and I was like, "Why are there feathers involved? Like, what's going on? Why is it quacking?" And like, this is the craziest loom story I've ever heard. So I think it does make it confusing. I was sitting in a meeting listening to this story, and I swear for like 5 minutes, I thought they were talking about weaving. And that's why you don't ever put someone facing the front, like, especially, us mothers have hearing loss problems from all the sonic boom screaming. Um,
Kids don't scream a lot.
Thank you, mothers of one, for putting us up with us mothers of four. And it was this mom, and she was babysitting someone's toddler, and her kids were jumping off the roof onto the trampoline, but she felt it was safe because they had helmets on. And and then her toddler, as she was talking to the parent picking up their child, was peeing in someone's cup.
Well, he directed it
And I
to
could see that happening at my house, but I try to keep it under wraps. Like, I always pretended I was like, I don't know if you've ever watched Desperate Housewives, but I always like my spirit animal was Brie Vandekamp.
Oh,
She went over the top. I could totally save face. Like, it's a Southern thing.
a wake or like some funeral, and she's got the twins, and the twins jump in the pool, and she walks in there, and it was I think the day after her husband and her got divorced. I think
Maybe. I don't remember it that well. Like,
that was a great scene.
yeah, I know I watched that while I was studying, so I missed a lot of it, but I specifically remember, like, I feel like Brie Vandekamp was my spirit animal. Like, I try to hold things together, but it doesn't always happen.
It's too hard.
But I try to be poised in the chaos. Like,
You are though. You are. I've seen you with the kids when they're like running around everywhere, and you're like that wave. You're like ambient.
I think it's just because you have to when you have more than 1 or 2 kids, you have to give up somewhat and, like, let them be their own free spirits, or otherwise you might go insane.
So with Maya, I mean, I only have one kid, so I'm not an authority at all on parenting. But with Maya, my first words to her when she was born were, "Welcome to the planet. I'm here to assist you." And I really felt like I'm here to assist her. I sometimes feel like I made a mistake by telling her she could give me her opinion all the time because, my Lord, will she argue with me about something and say, "Mom, this is what I think. This is what I want." And she's 18 now. And I think I did a good job of letting her be an individual and have her own thoughts and dress herself and decide how she wants to live her life.
Right.
She just decided she wanted a tattoo. I don't like tattoos. It's not my thing. But I'm not gonna stop her from getting a tattoo if that's where she wants to, what she wants to do. So she put her $50 deposit to make
Is it that big?
well, no, she had to schedule it. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
like a
No, but I mean, like, is the tattoo big enough that it's more than $50?
it was just gonna be a quote from that movie.
Okay, so it is bigger. So it
It
could
was like a small one, like no
yeah.
bigger than this. And it was gonna be a cursive sentence here from, the movie, what is it? Wallflower Perks of a Wallflower?
I don't
It's one
know.
of our favorite movies. Anyway, but, I didn't want that. I didn't want her to get that nose piercing that she got, but I thought, "It's not my life." I told her my opinion, which I don't think you should defile your body like that. I mean, even scientifically, supposedly, the ink does something to your body.
Right.
But if that's how she wants to express herself, go for it. I mean,
Yeah.
not you.
It's true. And, like, I always feel that way you say it, like, I let my kids do stuff and I let them voice their opinions, and they're like the attorneys in my courtroom, and I'm the judge.
Oh, how smart.
So that's how I think of it. I'm like, I'm the judge. So when they throw stuff in the house and they're like, "Well, I was kicking the ball instead." And I'm like, "So we're gonna go with the no projectiles in our home are allowed."
Well, if I had more than one, that's the really good approach.
So
Yeah.
so I want them to argue with me, but I'm gonna be like, "I'm making the final call here because I'm the judge, because
But
I'm the mom."
I definitely have your opinion. How
Yeah,
cool.
I wanna hear what they have to say because I'm like, if you give me a good argument, I might change my mind.
But that's a really good approach, and, I mean, I don't know because I don't have more than one kid, but I would think, and from what I've seen other mothers go, batshit crazy screaming at their kids,
I mean,
you
we've
you
all been there.
but you have a really good way of, like, managing them and having them, say what they want or get what they wanna eat. I really admire that about you. I don't know that I could do that.
Yeah, like,
I might be throwing chancletas
I
across the
think it's
room
because
all
'cause I'm
day.
lazy. Oh, please, like, don't even. I have my moments, we all do, but, like, I try to make them as independent as they can be at their whatever stage they're at. I'm like, "Okay, you're gonna have to make your bed now." But, I mean, I know it's gonna look a hot mess, but, I mean,
But
it's
it's
the
their hot mess, and they
yes, and
worked
it's
on it.
like, my goal is to help them learn the skills of discipline a little bit, like, because that's what's gonna get you far in life, and I was just talking about or thinking about that this morning because I was driving by all the bus
Sorry,
stops.
menopause.
I was driving by all the bus stops this morning and all the teenagers were on their cell phones, and I don't know where I was going with that, but, um, it
I think you were talking about how, like, you let the kids.
so I want them to have that discipline because I was thinking, "Oh, like, if my kid doesn't have their cell phone out for 20 minutes and they read a book instead," which I myself have been trying to do, like, I try not to scroll, I pull out my book, like, I used to literally carry a book in my purse everywhere, and I started doing it again.
Such a good habit.
That look how much further you could get ahead in even a year worth of time just by putting your phone down.
So it's funny you say that because I'm struggling with that addiction right now, and my whole family has called me out on it. So I carry this. Where's my phone? It's actually like a mini
It's really a
laptop.
brick. It's a brick.
Mini laptop, so big, right? But I use it for work all the time, and sometimes I won't even touch my laptop
Right.
all day because I can read emails, edit Excel sheets. I can edit videos, flyers there on apps. I don't really need to use my laptop sometimes. And so then I'll end up on a YouTube video or I'll listen to Netflix show while I'm doing some other work. And I realized that I wasn't being quiet a lot
Right.
and I wasn't reading. And I have like a bunch of books that I bought recently for my trip to Contact of the Desert. I came back with like 12 books. I hadn't opened any. So now I'm doing 30 minutes a day and I'm putting down my phone and I'm keeping it on my night table on the other side instead of on my bed next to me.
See, like, I put mine it's not in my room because I feel like I don't want that, like, energy from the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and
I have
I have
shungite rocks this big next to my bed.
she needs a
I'm that
boulder.
excited.
She needs a boulder.
I'm not kidding. I have them all over the house. Walk around and see how many I have.
And I actually have a friend that works in that, with energy and stuff, and I wanna interview her really badly because I need to know more information.
Have you seen the pyramid I bought?
No.
I bought a massive pyramid,
I love this.
and then I put 4 quartz, tied them, with copper,
Oh, like
and
points or
you
something on them.
yeah,
Okay.
and then I bought some organite balls. One organite ball, hung it, and then I put this other pyramid on top of it and put another one in there. And I kid you not, I don't have the intelligence to explain how and why it happened, but the last 3 menstrual periods I had, I laid down in that pyramid for about 2.5 hours, and it's the only time in my life that I haven't had cramps.
That's nice.
Yeah, so if you wanna go lay down to the
Well, I mean, that's another science thing that, like, people think is hooey.
but it
Hooey dooey.
works.
I know this is, like, a Southern thing too, like, hooey. My
I've never heard
husband's
of it.
all I don't even know how to
I've heard of
say what
Huey,
it means,
Louie,
like,
and
it's just hooey. It's just nonsense. Like,
go try it. I'm telling you,
science
it works.
science says it's nonsense, but maybe we haven't caught up yet. An example of that. Like, I mean, because everything is made of energy.
Even our thoughts. I mean, haven't you ever met somebody and said, "Oh, there's something about that I don't like," or "Oh my god, I love this person."
Right. Yeah. Same. Yeah. So, like,
Energy.
so I want to interview this person because I'm like, I need some more books to read about it. First of all, like,
I'll give
I
you
don't
some books. I got a
I
bunch
don't
of
want to be
books on
so
that.
clueless about everything.
Well, I'm
And
making one for my bed.
trying a pyramid.
Yeah, so I bought I ordered, I'm waiting for them to arrive. The top part and the connectors, like 150 bucks, and then you can go to Home Depot and just buy the copper pipes. So I want one completely over my bed while I sleep.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's my Christmas gift to
I think it would
myself.
look nice too, like aesthetically pleasing. I feel like Cleopatra probably slept in a bed like that.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
that glue.
I don't know.
God, it's like at the tip of my tongue. Anyways, I have boxes of it at home right now because I'm gonna build this
Oh,
damn thing.
epoxy?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Resin,
Resin,
epoxy
okay.
resin. So I bought everything, and I just need a weekend to be able
I
to do
was like,
this.
is this a project? I was like in my mind picturing my kids gluing rocks to paper. So I don't know.
Don't let them play with epoxy resin. They
No,
get their hands stuck in there. That stuff is.
they're already into the glue sticks. Like,
Oh, I love. You didn't do that as a kid?
no,
I
I
would put the
hate
glue on my
sticky.
hand.
I will not let my children eat lollipops. And it's not because I'm anti too much sugar. It's because I'm anti sticky. I swear to you, I give them little bowls to dip
It's
their
sticky.
syrup in because I don't want anything sticky touching my hands. I hate it.
I don't know if you've noticed. When I come here, I try to keep candies in my pockets to try to get your kids to play things. And Henry will always come to me and go, "Hey, Miss Olivia, you want to play a game? Like who can balance on their leg or who can stay quiet the
And they're always
longest?"
sticky.
And then I'm like, I go into my pocket and I'm like, "Here you go."
It reminds me of old ladies in their purse candy at church, like with the Werther's original when I was little. Like, I
Chris,
love that stuff.
Chris and Byron are like, "Stop giving Emily's kids candy." I'm like, have you noticed how they stay quiet and they listen? Because I'm
They're like,
secretly giving them
now
Starbucks and
we know
Hershey's
why
Kisses.
they like you so much. I'm kidding. I knew they were getting candy, but it's
I've
hilarious.
been trading them. They're
It
so cute.
works. I ask them every day, like, how was school? And they're like, I had an M&M.
Oh
And I was like,
my, you rebellious
what if I
boy.
just give you a box of M&Ms and lock you in the closet? I'm not going to do that, but I'm just like, you would have a great day.
No, wait, hold on. So when Henry gets home and you ask him, how was your day?
I had an M&M, and he told me his first day of kindergarten, he's like, they don't give us candy in kindergarten. We're too old. He was like, I didn't get a Skittle or an M&M. I'm glad finally they stopped giving you like
Oh my God, I love this kid.
too much junk food just for standing there in a good way.
It's hilarious. When I was in second grade, I had a teacher named Miss Gold, and she had been in a car accident, so she used to do this support thing. She's brilliant though, and she had really puffy red hair. So every day before or after lunch, depending on her schedule, she would line us up in the hallway against the wall, and she would say, "Open your mouth," and she'd give each one of us a Fig Newton. Remember those cookies?
Yeah, I feel like you couldn't even do that today because somebody would be allergic to it.
Yeah, probably.
That's a whole nother can of worms. They're like, something is going on and I'm gonna get to the bottom of it.
You can have a great.
And why can't we go on your Make America Healthy website and figure out what to do?
What is
Like,
on that website?
literally, I feel like it's nothing. I don't think they update it. They say they do. I think they put their legislation stuff on it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna read all that. We need the cliff notes.
I would like a poster of the foods I should be eating or the products I should be banning.
Yeah, I want to see like some more of that change come in. So I was like all excited about the idea of it, right off the bat because I was like, okay, I like the idea of it. It's catchy.
Is that an FDA a campaign?
No, it's like a special new office that
Oh,
they
really?
came up with, as far as I understand, and they work with the Department of Health. And I don't know. I'm gonna have to check my facts on this, but all
Scary.
yeah, I just want to like I wouldn't mind like seeing that happen in our country because we went from the Dust Bowl to and I know it's like I just want to be able to look it up online, more information. Well, like because you try to look up health things and there's that wall there with like paying for journal descriptions and you can't learn information that
Emily,
you should be able to.
I just paid $5,000 for me and another 5,000 for Maya to go to a nutritionist because we've gained so much weight and I've got diabetes and we're eating crap. And I mean, I won't speak for Maya because Maya's been better at it than I have, right? So they took our blood test and they told us what vitamins we were deficient in and they made some concoction of stuff and they gave it to us and then they put us on not a diet, but like a re-education of how we should do groceries and this and that.
Right.
I failed.
Yeah, I know.
I failed. And I
Well,
want
it's too much stuff. Like it's too much to do. Like it shouldn't be that hard.
I mean, are we maybe because I mean I'm the typical kid who was raised off of McDonald's and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but what's a terrible, disgusting pizza?
Oh yeah, the school pizza.
And then, well, that too. But well, for me, that was like delicious. But what's that pizza? Pizza. What's it called? Little Caesars,
Oh,
which is like, what is that? It's just plastic, right? So that's what I was raised on. Single mom, my
right.
mom was working, and so it was like, well, go get a pizza from Little Caesars.
See, and like I never ate that stuff. I never ate those kind of things. Like I'm telling you, I have this curse on me. If I try to bake a frozen pizza, it's always black by the time it's done. I don't know how to cook frozen pizza. I only
I've
know
seen
how to
you
make
make
it.
them from
I only
scratch.
know how to make them from scratch. I can't make frozen food. I think it's like the universe telling me not to eat it.
Good. That's a good
Feel
thing.
that we eat everything is almost from scratch, and like I'm still overweight a little. I mean, I just had a
You just had a baby.
I know, but still,
Be
come
gentle with
on.
yourself.
And
I weigh more now than I did at 9 months pregnant.
and so now I'm like interested in learning about like the carnivore diet and all those things. And if I get to eat beef every day for 2 months, I don't care. I'll eat.
What was the name of that diet? Atkins diet, remember?
Which one?
Atkins.
Oh yeah. Well, that was low carb too.
When that came out, I went to the store and I bought myself a bag of pepperoni, turkey pepperoni, and then a bag of cheese, and that's all I ate for a month.
And how did it go?
I lost so much weight.
Okay, maybe I'm trying the light diet just for fun.
I don't know. I mean, I
We'll
don't know.
see how
I
it goes.
can't
We
do
can
it
talk
now.
about it.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be good for my cholesterol now, but
In October, I can do it. Like,
why October?
because Robert will start eating some food. So yeah. So then he will at least have like they still nurse. He'll get some other food too.
That's why you have to be careful with your diet right now with your milk.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I might just. I just want to see what happens. Really, like it's a scientific study, in my opinion, and I just.
Well, you're intelligent enough, and you have the education to track it for yourself in a scientific way. That's
And
what
I
you
would
studied.
just love to read about it. I wish there was a way. I don't want to hear about information on Instagram and Facebook videos. I want to be able to read some data.
And you could educate us, podcasts, so that
Yes,
we
but
can make better decisions for ourselves.
that's the thing. So I want to interview people and I want to know genuinely where to find it because I go on and Google Scholar publications, scientific publications, and there's the
Thanks for giving
NCBI
me another
database.
dark hole to jump
But you have to
into.
pay for all of those, and I'm not a member at a university that has a subscription. So those are things that you miss out on as a general public person.
But how about like in the library? You can get access there, maybe.
Mate, not in
I mean, it's
the
fair
Florida
that
one.
they should get money because I mean that's a lot of research and writing reports.
It
But also
is, but
sucks
like, why isn't there a way for them to put advertisements on it or something?
Ooh.
Like, I don't care if you put a spam advertisement. I don't care. Like,
let the marketing pay for it, so that the public can enjoy it.
yeah, because then they still make money. But I mean,
We have access.
I have never paid for Pandora.
Tell Chris about that. Maybe he can create something like that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, Chris is right now putting together programs and CRMs and all that good stuff.
Okay, and
Neat.
I think we're wrapping things up now. We talked a lot, and thank you for joining us on
Thank
the
you for
Emily
having me.
Rassam Show. We're gonna have our outro here. It's gonna be great. And everybody was worried about being interviewed, and it was like, this is not a sit down with Brett Bayer or I don't know.
It was a fun conversation.
Walter Cronkite. Like we just want to talk and learn something new. So that's our goal. And thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was fun.
Walter life. So now that you're here, here's how you can get involved. Subscribe wherever you listen so you never miss an episode. Leave a review. This truly helps the show grow and reach more women. Screenshot this episode on Instagram. I'm at CEO Living the Dream and let me know your biggest takeaway. Oh, and one more thing. Send this to a mom friend who needs to hear it. Someone who's doing the hard and holy work of building something beautiful right in the middle of real life. Coming up in the next few episodes, we'll be talking about how to reset your rhythm as a busy mom, the 5 kinds of wealth no one talks about, and what I wish I knew before starting my first business. Thanks so much for listening to this first episode of the Emily Rassam Show. I'm truly honored to have you here. Subscribe, share, and leave a review. And don't forget, you are exactly where you're meant to be. Talk soon.